The deadly health triangle, 3 hidden conditions, 1 vicious loop, a time bomb, ticking inside 6 out of 8 billion of population. You feel healthy. Your labs look normal, but inside, a fire is burning. Most doctors don't see it, because they were not trained to. Doctors do their best with what they're taught, treating cholesterol, BP and sugar. But the root fire often goes unnoticed. They treat cholesterol, BP, sugar, heart blocks, but the fire, still raging. This triangle doesn't show up in standard blood tests. It's not in medical textbooks, but it's destroying your health. Silently. The 3 corners they never connect. Fatty liver, your body's detox factory is clogged. Visceral fat, toxic fat choking your vital organs. Insulin resistance, the sugar gate is jammed shut. And here's the shocking part. None of these are part of your routine checkups. Not tested, not tracked, not treated. They don't work in isolation. Each one fuels the others, multiplying silently. This isn't just about weight. It's about the root of diabetes, heart attacks, high BP, even cancer. After age 30, your body begins to shift, silently, invisibly. And by the time labs catch it, you're already deep inside the deadly health triangle. This isn't just medical ignorance. It's a global health crisis, wiping out 2 out of every 3 people. While doctors treat the symptoms, not fire, not the root cause, it's time to break the loop. Stop chasing symptoms. Start seeing the cause. The truth they never taught in medical school, only on TryIncurable. Before it's too late, watch this video till the end. This video could save your liver, your heart, your brain, your future, your finances, and your life. I'm Dr. Sudhakar Tirupathy, pediatrician and holistic health practitioner. Welcome to TryIncurable, where we question outdated beliefs and reveal the truth with science and ancestral wisdom. If you care about your health, or someone else's, share this video. You might be the reason someone wakes up, and they may thank you with all their heart. Thank you for joining us on this journey to better health. Stay curious, stay healthy, and remember, knowledge is the best medicine. What is this deadly health triangle? 3 conditions that fuel each other. 1. Fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Excess carbs and fructose overload the liver. The liver converts unused glucose and fructose into fat. Over time, this fat builds up inside liver cells, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver. Fat builds up inside liver cells, even without alcohol. Chalasani et al., 2018. American Association for Study of Liver Diseases Guidelines. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease affects over 25% of the global population and is strongly linked to obesity and insulin resistance. 2. Fatty liver promotes insulin resistance. As liver cells fill with fat, they stop responding to insulin properly. The liver keeps releasing sugar into the blood, even when you're not eating. In response to insulin resistance, your pancreas produces more insulin to compensate. More insulin, more fat storage. 3. High insulin levels promote visceral fat storage, the dangerous fat that wraps around organs. Visceral fat feeds back into the loop. Visceral fat worsens insulin resistance. It also sends inflammatory signals and fatty acids back to the liver, making fatty liver worse. So what starts first? In most cases, fatty liver is the first spark, then comes insulin resistance, then visceral fat builds up. Together, they create a vicious self-feeding loop. Visceral fat. The hidden fat around internal organs, even in lean people, is highly inflammatory. Harvard Health, 2016. Visceral fat raises the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and early death by releasing inflammatory cytokines and worsening insulin resistance. Waist-to-hip ratio is a better risk predictor than BMI. Reducing visceral fat through exercise, weight loss, and anti-inflammatory foods is critical. Insulin resistance. When cells stop responding to insulin, blood sugar and insulin levels rise. Revan's 1988 Banting Lecture. Insulin resistance is the driver behind type 2 diabetes, hypertension, abnormal cholesterol, and heart disease. How they feed each other, the vicious loop. Fatty liver increases insulin resistance. The liver regulates blood sugar. When clogged with fat, it becomes insulin resistant and overproduces glucose. According to the study by Samuel and Schulman in Cell Metabolism 2012, insulin resistance and visceral fat are deeply connected in a harmful cycle. When your body becomes insulin resistant, it stops handling fat properly. This leads to more fat being stored in harmful places, especially around your organs, called visceral fat. This visceral fat doesn't just sit there. It actively releases substances that make insulin resistance even worse and push more fat into your liver, leading to fatty liver disease. In short, insulin resistance increases visceral fat, and that visceral fat, in turn, worsens both insulin resistance and fatty liver. This creates a dangerous loop that quietly damages your metabolic health over time. Ravusin et al., 2002. Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found even in lean individuals, when fat builds up where it shouldn't, like the liver or muscles, it can impair insulin function, long before blood sugar rises. Tilg and Moschen, 2010. Gastroenterology. Visceral fat is not passive. It acts like a pro-inflammatory endocrine organ. Bottom line, it's not how much fat you have, but where it hides. And non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is not just a liver issue, but a systemic metabolic disorder. Metabolic chaos, not just isolated liver fat, is the real driver behind disease progression. It doesn't just damage the liver, it triggers a systemic inflammatory state, and that lays the foundation for chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity-related cancers, cirrhosis and liver failure. Yiki Jarvinen, New England Journal of Medicine, 2019. Fatty liver and insulin resistance aren't just consequences, they're central drivers of metabolic syndrome and cardiovascular disease. Treating them directly is essential to break the cycle. Final summary. Multiple landmark studies including Reven 1988, Samuel and Schulman 2012, Ravusin et al. 2002, Tilg and Moschen 2010, Yiki Jarvinen 2019, all confirm the same truth. The root causes of metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, dyslipidemia, cardiovascular disease, and even some cancers converge on one triangle: fatty liver, visceral fat, and insulin resistance. These are not just associated with disease, they cause it. Yet in current medical practice, the focus remains on symptom management. We medicate the numbers, but ignore the metabolic fire. Doctors prescribe pills for life, sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, but rarely touch the real cause, a broken metabolism. Statins target the 0.01% LDL in your blood. 99.99% of visceral fat goes unheard, unchecked, and unmeasured. At best, they tell you to eat a balanced diet, the very advice that built this deadly health triangle over 75 years. We chase numbers on a lab report, instead of healing the system that's breaking down. Cardiologists often focus on treating downstream consequences, like heart attacks, using stents and bypass surgeries, while upstream root causes, such as insulin resistance, visceral fat, and fatty liver, remain unaddressed. A whole subspecialty, interventional cardiology, has emerged, dedicated to managing symptoms and complications, not the root metabolic drivers of disease. Similarly, oncologists, both medical and surgical, fight cancer with chemo, radiation, and scalpel. But in many cases, the cancer was fueled for years by overconsumption of carbohydrates, chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and metabolic dysfunction. Yet these root causes remain untouched. Bottom line, modern medicine excels at managing symptoms and complications, but true healing lies in addressing the root, correcting visceral fat, reversing fatty liver, and improving insulin sensitivity, primarily through nutrition, physical activity, and lifestyle change. Don't worry if the triangle sounds complicated. Here's the simple truth. Your illness did not start in a hospital, it started in your kitchen. So why look for cure in the wrong place? The cure is not in a pill, it's in your plate. Don't outsource a kitchen mistake to a hospital. Retrace your steps. Find health where you lost it. You can't medicate a lifestyle problem. No pill can undo the damage of a poor diet. The way out is clear. Cut the excess carbs. That's it. When you change what you eat, your liver begins to heal. Visceral fat starts to melt. Inflammation drops. Your body responds to insulin again. You can break the cycle. you can take back your health. It starts with food. Stay consistent. Your body knows how to heal when you give what it needs and stop fueling the fire. Main fuel: excess carbs. Ditch sugar and refined carbs. They feed this triangle. Cut seed oils. They worsen liver fat and inflammation. Fast and move. Intermittent fasting and exercise break insulin resistance. Use real fats, coconut oil, ghee, butter, nuts. Support metabolic healing. Track visceral fat using smart weighing scales at home, available on Amazon. In India, Moving Life Smart Business Scale, Economical, or Omron HBF 222T. USA. Renfo Smart Scale, and if you want more accurate results, DEXA Scan. Low-carb ketogenic diets reversed fatty liver and insulin resistance in just 10 weeks. The deadly triangle isn't just a theory, it's a ticking time bomb inside millions. No, billions of people right now. This is not a concept, it's a crisis in real time. But the good news? It's reversible. You don't need another prescription, you need to break the cycle, cut the sugar, cut the seed oils, heal the liver, because once you fix the triangle, you take back your health. Think this is just talk? Talk is cheap. Results are proof. Too many preach, but never practice. Don't follow noise. Follow those who walk the talk. See the science for yourself. The facts will shock you. The truth could save your life. I'm not talking about some fancy theory. I lived through every corner of the deadly health triangle. I didn't need a super specialty hospital to reverse disease. I healed every corner of the deadly health triangle. In my kitchen. And I've documented the proof at every step. Check it out. I walk the talk, and I've shared it all on the TryIncurable channel across these 4 videos. Understand the method, follow the truth, and you could safeguard your health for decades if you stick to norms I suggest below. 1. 20 years of failed dieting, fixed in 30 days. 2. Insulin resistance, the silent driver of disease. Forget waiting for disease. One simple test forecasts your metabolic future before BP, diabetes, or heart attacks strike. The one test that reveals future health risks. 3. Heart attacks aren't about cholesterol, it is about this. They're about visceral fat, the toxic fat choking your organs. These 2 markers are almost never tested by the medical system. 4. Fatty liver, the silent epidemic no one talks about. Worse than COVID, the epidemic attacking your liver silently. All links in the description. This isn't just information. It could save your life, or someone you love. Stop chasing lab numbers like cholesterol, blood sugar, BP, or heart blocks. They treat symptoms, not the fire beneath. Instead, master the 3 angles that actually predict your future health. The deadly triangle. Corner 1, serum insulin, the silent alarm, 2 to 5 micro-international units, ml. Safe zone. Your body's responding. Low risk. Stay here. Serum insulin, 6 to 9 micro-UML. Warning zone, insulin's rising. Your body's struggling. Time to cut carbs, move more, act now. Above 10 micro-UML. Danger zone, insulin resistance has begun, even if your sugar looks normal. Fatty liver, visceral fat, prediabetes, heart disease, all tied to this. You'll often hear, this test is not needed. But here's the truth. Most doctors are not trained to understand the value and significance of fasting insulin. They skip it out of habit. Labs ignore it out of ignorance. Instead, they will recommend fasting glucose and HbA1c, tests that only show your present and past glucose status. But what about your future? Only fasting insulin reveals the early warning signs, long before diabetes strikes. It's the test that predicts the storm, while there's still time to prevent it. Moving from fear to knowledge and control. Never trust lab upper limits of 25 micro-UML. That's not normal. That's metabolic meltdown. My fasting insulin dropped from 21.1 micro-UML in July 2023 to 7.54 micro-UML by October 2024. Once insulin normalized, my fasting blood sugar, previously always fluctuating from 100 to 160 milligrams deciliter, has consistently stayed below 100 milligrams deciliter for the past 11 months. Know your insulin. Catch the fire before it spreads. Corner 2, visceral fat, 5% and less. Excellent. 5 to 10%, borderline. More than 10%, dangerous, silent killer, driving insulin resistance and chronic disease. My visceral fat dropped from a high 17% in March 2023 to an excellent 5% by March 2025. And now, I don't chase cholesterol numbers. LDL and triglycerides no longer scare me. Corner 3. Fatty liver. Any fat in your liver, you're already on the disease path. My fatty liver was first diagnosed in 2013 and silently progressed to stage 2 by July 2024, all while I followed the so-called normal high-carb diet like everyone else. Once I cut down carbohydrates, something most people never try, my stage 2 fatty liver regressed to stage 1 in just 2 months, and by March 2025, my liver was completely free of fat. And what fuels all 3 corners? Excess carbs. Cut the carbs, cut the fuel, cut the route. But how many carbs are safe? It depends on your lifestyle. Sedentary, light walker, gym goer? Next video. I'll break it down based on your lifestyle. Stay tuned. This truth could change your health forever. Only on TryIncurable. Found this powerful? Hit like, subscribe, and share with someone you love. Let's spread real healing together. Summary. 2 triangles. 2 futures. 2 crossroads. 1 choice. Easy path, ignore the signals, eat normal food of sick society, stay trapped in the deadly health triangle. Like most people, the path leads to diagnosis, chronic disease, and limitations. High insulin, visceral fat, fatty liver. They silently damage hundreds of vital functions which are not evident on your routine lab tests until a diagnosis is made or crisis strikes. And the result? Risk of minimum 10 chronic diseases, premature death, lifelong pills, and endless suffering. Fix the root, reclaim your life, take the smarter path, master 3 key angles and flip the script, lowering insulin to under 10 micro-international units per milliliter, visceral fat, 5 to 10%, healing fatty liver. The positive health triangle prevents more than 10 major diseases, saves millions from lifelong pills and early death, cuts billions of dollars in healthcare costs, builds disease-proof health. It's the path of empowerment and vitality, not dependency. Every meal is a vote, for sickness or health. In a world drowning in advanced healthcare, vibrant health is rare, but possible. Don't wait for a diagnosis. Don't wait for a crisis. You have the power. You have the knowledge. You have the choice. Flip your triangle. Move from the deadly health triangle to positive health triangle. The most important project is you. Own your health. Guard your heart. Win your future. Which triangle do you choose?